Hello guys, hi everyone. Well, my name is Lorena and I work as an English teacher in Aula Abierta. I've been working with them many years and I've been training my students to take the Trinity and Cambridge exams. I think it's very important to understand the differences between these two official certificates, Cambridge and Trinity. But firstly, I think you should know that both of them are valid and they do not expire. Okay, so these two certificates are regulated by the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, which is an international standard that it helps or it's to describe language ability. What they have done, they have established a 6-point scale that goes from A1, which is the lowest level, to proficiency level, which is C2. And both of them regulates Cambridge and Trinity. Okay, so we continue explaining, or I'm going to continue explaining the differences between Trinity and Cambridge. Firstly, I would say that, both of them are good exams to take by students. It really depends on your goal, on your aim. So I would say, for example, if you are looking for a more academic study, let's say, then Cambridge could be pretty good for you. But however, Trinity focuses more on communication. So the skills in both of them are the same. You are going to be assessing both in all the different skills. We are talking about reading, writing, speaking, and listening. But the structure of the exam is different. For example, in Trinity, what they have done, they have divided into two modules. We have one module, which is reading and writing, and another module, which is speaking and listening. However, Cambridge has divided the exam into 4 different tasks. We have the reading task, depend on the level. At B2 level, you could have also use of English, okay? Also then we have writing and speaking too, and listening. So first, that's the main difference between these two certificates. One is divided into 2 modules and the other one has been divided into 4 parts. But both of them assess the same skills. With Trinity, what they have done also in the speaking part is different in comparison with Cambridge, because in Trinity the exam is taken individually, whereas in Cambridge the speaking exam is you go with a partner, is for 2. Okay, so that's another difference we can find in between Trinity and Cambridge speaking. Then the listening is also different, because in Trinity you do the listening just when you finished the speaking part. So again, it's individually. And in Cambridge exams, the speaking part, the listening part is done in a group. So you would have a recording with the rest of the class, and then you have different tasks. Okay, so we continue with another difference between the Cambridge and Trinity exam, and that would be the time we spend doing the exam. Okay, so to help you understand this better, I'm going to start with the B1 of Cambridge. It's true that this year there has been some changes in the PET exam, at B1 level. And those changes are related mainly, well, they have changed different parts, but in the reading, now it would be a little bit different. They have eliminated one part, which is the transformation sentence. That was very hard for students. So students are quite pleased or happy that they have changed that part. So talking about the PET exam, we have different parts. As you know, Cambridge divides the exam into different parts. We have the reading part, which is around 45 minutes and is divided into 6 parts with 32 questions. As you know, it's reading, so you would have to read different texts, and then you have different activities related to those reading texts. Okay, it's 6 parts. You have 6 parts in this reading test. Then in the writing test is also different because they have eliminated the part I mentioned before, the transformation of sentences. So now the writing it's around 45 minutes, okay, and it's divided into 2 parts. In one task, you need to write a letter or an email. So they give you an original text, and then you need to answer questions that are highlighted in that little or short email or letter. Okay, and in the second part, you would have to write perhaps an article or an essay or a story. They also have a story at Cambridge level. In Trinity, for example, you don't have stories, but if you're taking the B1 and you like stories, then it's a good activity for you to do in the writing part. As I said, 45 minutes, and it's divided into 2 parts. Then we have the speaking part, which lasts around 12 minutes, and is divided into 4 parts. 12 minutes and 4 parts. It's the same as before, as it used to be. So I still have 4 parts. In the first part, you need to answer personal questions. Then in the second part, you will have to describe photos. And also we have in the third part a situation, and in the fourth part we also have more questions, okay, related to that topic, to part 3. Then we have the listening. The listening, as you know, is done in groups and is divided into 4 parts, okay? It lasts around 30 minutes, more or less 30 minutes. And that's the PET exam. With Cambridge, if you are above 16 years old, you can take one exam, and they have another exam which is for people who are 13 or 14 years old, and that is called B1 for schools, okay? You would see now the structure that I have explained, that I have just explained, okay? Okay, now we continue talking about this time the first exam. Well, I have just mentioned how to face the PET exam, and I want to revise this first exam with you guys. So the first part you would find in the first exam is reading and use of English. This is an exam that lasts around 1 hour and 30 minutes, okay? You would have 7 parts. We have 7 parts and 53 questions, okay? What do you need to do here? You need to read different texts. For example, you would have to read perhaps journals or newspapers. So be ready to read about different texts and then do some activities related to those texts, okay? So as I said, the reading, it's around 1 hour and a half. Then you would move on to the writing part, which is, the time is similar. It's around 1 hour and a half. And here you have 2 parts. In these 2 parts, it's about writing. So you would have to write a variety of texts. For example, article or essays or reviews, okay? So be ready in this part to show your writing skills. Then at first, B2 level, you would have a listening. This listening, it takes around 40 minutes to complete it. It has 4 different parts and 30 questions. Okay, you would have to listen to different recordings and then do different activities that are related to those recordings. And at B2 level, in Cambridge, of course, we are talking, the speaking, it's around 16 minutes and it has 3 parts, okay? The first part, it has 4 parts. The first part is, you would be asked personal questions. Try to extend your answer when you reply to those questions. Then in part 2, you would have to compare photos. You would be given some photographs and you would have to talk compare these 2 photos. And then we will move on to another part, which is a discussion that will be done with your partner or maximum group of 3. And so it's you need to discuss a topic and different ideas, and in part 4 you would have to answer different questions. Okay, now you would see a graph with everything that I have explained, so you can actually see what I'm saying. Okay, now I'm going to continue explaining the structure you are going to find in this case in the Trinity exam at B1 and at B2 level. In Trinity, these exams are called ISE1, which is B1 level, and ISE2, which is B2 level. Okay, so how long does it last? ¿Cuánto tiempo dura? Well, it lasts around, it's one module, the reading and writing, lasts 2 hours. And then we have the speaking and listening that, depending on the level, at B1 level, it lasts 18 minutes, and B2 level, it lasts 20 minutes. Okay, so first, you would take the module, or usually students take the module of reading and writing. What do you need to do there, or how many parts are you going to find? Trinity has divided the exam in 4 different tasks. There are 2 reading tasks and 2 writing tasks. Okay, so how does it work? In Trinity, you have a long reading, and then you would have to do 3 different activities related to that long reading. For example, find a title for each paragraph for that long reading, or say which statements are true, or complete a summary with the exact words. It could be a number or an adjective or a noun from the text. Okay, so we have that, which is task 1, a long reading. It's recommendable to take around 20 minutes for each reading. So then you would have 40 minutes for the writing. Okay, then in task 2, you will find multi-text reading, where you are going to find 4 different texts, and these texts are more contemporary. For example, you can find a graph or an extra of an article, or it could be a blog or an email. And then you would have to do 3 different activities that are very similar to the ones you find in task 1. These 3 different activities are, for example, you have questions and you need to say in which of those texts answer the question. Okay, you would have 5 questions, and you have 4 texts. So remember that one of the texts is repeated once. Okay, then you need to say which statements are true related to the 4 texts you read, and complete a summary with, again, the exact words from these texts. So once you have finished that, well, the main difference between B1 and B2 level in Trinity are the amount of words you will have to read and the difficulty too, the text, the topics you are going to find in both levels. So of course, B1 is easier, and then B2 is an advanced or intermediate advanced level, okay? Once we have finished the reading parts, then we have to complete 2 writing tasks. As I said, I recommend perhaps to leave at least 40 minutes for each part, because it's very important to plan your writing, and take a few minutes. That would be the same for a Cambridge exam. Take a few minutes to plan your writing. And also you can write a grammar list of your level, so you can include it in your writing, and you do not forget to include it, okay? So what type of writings you would have to do in this part? I mean, you can be asked to write a letter, or it could be a review or an article. It says the type of writings are very similar in Cambridge and Trinity. Okay, so we finished with the reading and writing model, and then we go to speaking. As I said, it's going to depend on the level, so the time is also going to depend on the level. I think I mentioned it before. For B1 level, it's around 80 minutes or 60 minutes, more or less, and for B2 level, 20 minutes. It's done speaking and listening all together. So you first do the speaking part, and then you do the listening. And remember, this exam is done individually in Trinity. So what do you need to do in the speaking part? You would have in both levels, in B1 and B2, you would have to talk about your topic. It's something the student have previously prepared at home or in class, and they have to choose a topic that interests the person. Then we would talk about that topic with the examiner. Then we have what we call the conversation phase. There are different topics depending if you're taking the B1 or B2, the topics are going to be different, but you would have to answer questions about different topics. For example, at B1 level, you will have fashion, money, learning a language, whereas at B2 level, you could talk about pollution, recycling, personal values, and ideals. Okay? There is one difference between the speaking at B1 and B2 level in Trinity. At B2, you have an extra part, apart from the topic, a conversation phase, which is called the interactive phase. There, the examiner gives you a situation, and you need to ask questions to find out more information, and then finish the conversation, giving a recommendation or suggestion in most of cases. Okay, once you finish the speaking part, you would have to do the listening. There is also a difference between the levels. At B1 level, you have 2 listening tasks, and at B2 level, you have just 1 listening task. Of course, it's a longer recording at B2 level, and then at B1 level, you have short recordings that could last around 1 minute, and then you would be asked some questions. Okay, so you would see now, well, everything that I have explained, so you can clear up questions, okay? Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.